All right, so just got back from wife and I doing a little dinner, little din din, and little Walmart needed a couple little items. So, all right, I'm out here doing my thing. I had my guy JC, Dave, my two guys, and I dropped them off. What was it? A week ago? No, 2 weeks ago. To go back to the airport, back home, all that stuff. I then went north of this area to do a little side mission for about a week, and then came back down to the same house we were all three in before and invited my wife up here to take the ride home with me. That was this past Sunday. So, well, let's see, what's today? Yeah, this past Sunday. But I ordered this ground penetrating radar device. And when I came out here with my guys recently, my buddy who lives out here, who's got a little ranch property, whatever, one of our sites, private property, and he says, "Oh, Joe, my friend's got this like GPR 3D scanner, ground scanner. It works really well." I thought, all right, well, I know where the Crystal Cave is. We could test it over there because I'm about to spend a bunch of money on one of these things because I looked all over the internet, reviews, anyone use this damn thing. I can't find anybody, but I see metal detecting companies selling it and the main manufacturer in Germany selling it. That ain't gonna cut it. You know what I mean? Obviously, so. I'm like, wow, your friend has one. I can see it in person. And we know the Crystal Cave goes back 30 or 40 feet. We can do that as a test ground. So I think that day it was me and Dave and my buddy and then his guy that has the thing. He met us over there and we ran it. And long story short, it works freaking great. It drew a very nice 3D ground view underground. So I said, all right, go beyond where the cave is, and you walk in like 4 lines, and you scan each line as you get closer. And I said, start where we know the cave's not at, and then come towards us, and let's see if it starts picking it up. Sure enough, he did 4 runs, 1, 2, 3, 4, like a lawnmower, mowing your yard. And that fourth one is right where the cave started to begin. And I mean, not the entrance, but the end of it, because it's not a deep cave. It's just, I mean, it's hard to really call a cave when it only goes back 30 feet, but whatever. It goes down and then back. So I told them to go outside on top, all the way to the back and even further, and then scan back in towards us. And sure enough, that final number 4 scan, it started showing the end of the cave. And before that, it didn't show anything because there was no cave. So I was pretty darn impressed with this thing. So I'm like, wow. I had talking to the manufacturer in Germany. I'm like, how fast can I get one of these things? He says, well, it does have to go through customs and stuff, but we could send it 3-day. You have to pay for it, of course, but 3-day. And I'm like, okay, I think I can make that work. So I go ahead and do it. I pull the trigger while I'm out here because I'm like, well, I'll get the thing, and then I can kind of like double check our main spot and some other spots that we want to just scope out, whatever. To see if is there a cavern, is there an old shaft entrance, just whatever. And it's just not, like 10 days has gone by and it's still like shipping information received, nothing further. I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, I go and do the up north thing for a week, come back, it still ain't here. Long story short, I just got it tonight, and tonight's Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Thursday when you see this video. So I haven't got to use it. I was actually taking my wife out to a couple of our spots when I see an update from the shipping provider, and I call them, and they're like, "Oh, well, we don't have service to your area, so it's going to be 2 to 3 days using the postal service." So I'm like, "Where is it at right now?" And they said it's over in such and such, which is a 2-hour drive for me. But I said that it's already here though. It's already in this area. Yeah, it's there. Okay, put a hold on it. I'm coming right now. 2 hours, I'll be there. So me and the wife turned a Jeep around in the middle of almost going to the mountains, practically halfway. Flew over there, got the thing, flew as in drove over there, got the thing, brought it home just in time because yesterday, the Crystal lady, to do some basically an Indian couple, you could say, um, and I mean like Native American when I say Indian, that we met when I was here recently. We did an unbelievable ceremony at their house and I'm talking with JC and Dave. It was beautiful. It was awesome. Couldn't record it. Couldn't take pictures. I'd love to, but that was not happening. Um, so while I'm here, I'm like, well, I'm kind of extending my stay a little bit with my wife, waiting on this thing to come in. And since it's going to come in, let me spend a full day. I want to go to 3 sites basically, and they're all not too far from each other. So we'll spend, one of the days after I get this thing to go out there. But Crystal, I'm taking the Crystal lady out to breakfast. My wife and I, we're just having a chat with her, whatever. And she gets a message coming in from the Indian couple. Hey, we're having a ceremony tomorrow. Invite anyone you want to bring. We've got an Indian guy here with his wife. They're kind of stuck here for a week. His truck needs to be repaired, and so he's going to make use of the time and do some healing work and stuff. Blah blah blah. Now I said, okay. He's saying invite anyone. She goes, yeah. I was like, all right. Tell him we'd like to come. So me and my wife, long story short, we showed up today, and so this is really interesting. You're gonna like this part. So we go to this person's house who's invited the Indian guy and his wife, and he starts setting up a blanket or his little like space, his feathers and his, rattlers and all these different things and drum and all this stuff, to do a ceremony. And people knew he was coming. So some people who wanted some healing work done, they all showed up. I'd say there's probably about 15 of us, maybe more, maybe 20. And it was in the backyard of this one lady's house, right next to the river. It was beautiful, beautiful sight. It was real comfortable, real peaceful. And me and Evelyn are like, well, we're here for whatever. We don't really like, I don't think we need to be healed. But I thought, well, my foot still isn't 100% perfect. But I felt like I was telling her, I was like, I wonder if I could ask him, the Indian guy, listen, I don't need to be like healed, but I'm searching for something in these mountains over here. Can you, put a good word in with the Indian spirit? Like I was going to think of something to say, because I'm trying to get this, what is in here and do good with like this money if I ever found something, right? And I'm not just saying that, like I have to do that, especially for the Indian people who have been crapped on by former, America when we first started, pushed them off their native lands, threw them in these areas. Okay, here's your reservation. No, they want to be back in the mountains where they were. No, 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 no. Get away from the mountains. You guys go out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And they don't live very nice in these houses these days that they have built. So I felt like if I ever found something, man, am I going to take care of those people, hook up their living standards a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe a lot of it. So that was always my intention. I don't know where it came from, but that was just like, that's my thing. So this guy is giving his story. He was in the military. He was young. He was living in the woods, in the mountains, and then the government would come get him and take him into a school system against his will, his parents' will, whatever. They kind of stripped him from his parents, basically. Put him in I forgot what the kind of school he called it. A what? Boarding school? Boarding school. And he's like, they say, oh, no, now you're going to be civilized. He's like, man, I was fine back in the woods, living out in Mother Earth. I didn't have any of these rules and all this stuff. Like, I was one with the earth. He goes, but then he got older, ended up joining the military, realized I don't want to do this. I got to get out. His son, this is an older guy now, his son was in the military, and he's like, I got to get my son out of here. I can't do this like this. I got to go back to my old ways and just change his life. And so he went back to his old ways. He goes, I turned in my guns and my knives, from the military, and here's all my tools now. He's got his rattlers, his drum, his Native American stuff. So he was doing some Native American chants and all these things, real nice, and just kind of gave his background story. And he's like, yeah, some people want to keep this stuff secret, and like in the tribes, he's like, but no, it's time to get it out. It's time to share it with everybody. Everyone who's wanting healing and wanting this, be a part of this, is welcome. In other words, the white man, if you're ready, you're welcome. And that's funny because there's a guy named Clifford Mahudi from the what tribe is he? Zuni tribe, who's been on YouTube. You can search for him. I think I said Richard Mahudi. It's something else. Something Mahudi. Clifford Mahudi. And you can find some of the interviews with that guy. But this guy's now saying it. So he does it. Then he starts to get into the ritual. And he's got his feathers and all these things, and the smoke, and the not incense. What is it? Sage, yeah. And he's just kind of going around looking at everybody and saying, "Okay, you, point over there, come sit down in front of me." And he put a chair there, and dipped his feather in this special ceremonial stuff he put together, and yada yada yada, and just start talking to them. He didn't ask him anything. I was thinking he was going to ask them something. Well, how can I help you? Oh, my arm, my this, my that. He didn't ask anything. He just started going right into it like a psychic. And I'm listening because I'm close to where this chair is, me and Evelyn, and I'm hearing what he's telling the people, and I'm like, wow. And they seem to be very responsive and receptive to it. Okay, next person, he just randomly, he's looking around. Okay, you come. Next guy, girl or guy, whatever. Same story. Starts to tell, piercing through their soul and telling them stuff. Wow. Some people cried a little bit. Some people laughed, like just different range of emotions. And he does. Evelyn calls her up, tells her some things, which she said, yeah. I mean, he kind of knew what to say to me, what I needed to hear, which was odd, because again, he doesn't know us. And no one around there really knew him, for the most part. He was kind of a stranger in town for a week, and forced to stay because his car or a truck broke down. And that was part of the clarion call. Hey guys, they're doing a healing session. By the way, if you want to be healed, can you throw a little extra? The normal, the guy's trying to get his truck fixed, And I'm like, yep, put me and Evelyn down. Here you go. Whether we got quote unquote healed or not, I'm like, no, we're fine. We'll just be a part of the ceremony, and that's good enough, But he picked Evelyn. Okay, go. Then he picks me. Give me Evelyn. Give me that thing out of there. It's on top of my phone. I think it's sitting right on my phone. Okay. So he calls me up, and I'm sitting there in my mind, knowing, well, he's not going to ask me because he didn't ask anybody else anything. Therefore, how am I going to decide? Do I talk about my foot? Is my foot, because my foot's been doing pretty darn good, even though I've been putting it through a lot of abuse, hiking and going up and down freaking mountainsides. It's been holding up quite well. And then I thought I could ask about that, or I could ask about, treasure hunt stuff. Because he's a Native American, and what I'm looking for, many Native Americans have died and were killed over this stuff and whatever, and I want to go get it and put it to good use. Matter of fact, for some Native Americans, amongst other people, and other good causes. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to listen, really. He's just going to talk to me. So he starts telling me. Now again, nobody there at this particular ceremony, not one person there knew I'm JSnip4 from YouTube, and I'm the crypto guy, blah, 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 and I do all the crypto stuff, or whatever. Or anything else, my job, nothing. These people knew nothing about me. And he just starts rattling off. I thought I was getting a psychic reading from, White Dove or somebody. Oh, yeah, I see. He's like, you're going to be blessed, very good financially. You're going to be, and again, I couldn't record this. I'd love to record the whole ceremony. This would have been phenomenal to post on YouTube. But it was not appropriate to do so. And it's killing me inside because I'm dying to share some of this stuff with you. Like video, firsthand, check this out. Like you think I'm just saying this, watch this. But anyway, so I'm going to remember, I don't know the word for word thing he said to me, but he basically said, you are fixing to be financially set. You're going to be doing very, very well, and, offered a little advice about it, whatever, and he was starting to get into something, and I couldn't help myself, but I had to at least give a quick reply, because it was killing me inside, like I had to say it. It was just about to come up, and I said, I'm hunting for something in these mountains over here. That's all I said. I'm hunting for something in these mountains. Again, nobody knows who I am, YouTube guy, nothing. I'm hunting for. He goes, I know, and you're gonna get it. He tells his wife, hey, honey, get my black bag. Go grab my black bag. The one inside the house. Yeah, get that. Bring that here. He starts digging in it. Says a little Indian chant while he's digging in it. A little quick. I don't know the language, but because he was doing that throughout the ceremony with different people, healing them. And he had like some kind of bone. I don't know what animal it came from. A little bone whistle flute thing. Like, I don't know. He reaches in there, says his little, thing, and pulls this out. It says, "This is for you." To me, this is for you. Now, this is gonna be very difficult, I think, to share. Oh, you can see it. No, it's not. You see what that is? What color is that? What is that? I love gold. He got this, and I don't know where he got it from. I didn't ask, and I'm like, "You want me to just hold on to this, or are you giving this to me? Like, keep it?" He goes, "Yeah, unless you want to give it back." It's for you. I said, "Oh, well, oh my God, thank you." He says, "This is what you're looking for, and you're going to find it, and you're going to find a lot more. And when you're done finding that one, there's going to be other ones you find." Excuse me? And he's looking, Indians have brown eyes. Like, they're all just brown eyes. And he's looking at me with those brown eyes, staring through my soul. Pretty much like he stared through everyone else's soul that day, or tonight. And it was like from 4:30 to like 8:30 or something like that is how long it took, because it started getting dark, and I know that it gets dark around that time. So, and he says, "Yeah, you're immense wealth or something. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna get more, and you will do good with it. I see it, and I can see you're probably gonna spoil a few people. You'll spoil a few people, but that's okay." And I said, "Well," and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "Be careful. The Apache, no, 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 no. Comanche." He corrected himself. "Comanche spirits. They're up there. Be careful." And I said, "Well, I, I feel like I don't know if I said I know that or whatever, but I said something along the lines like, yeah." I was like, "But my intention has always been to right the wrongs of the people that did this to those Indians and stuff in these mountains. I want to get that out of there to make it right for the Indians. Use it for good purposes, amongst other reasons, the Indians nowadays." He goes, "I know, and you can do it." And I'm like, "Well, you feel like the Great Spirit or whatever like is giving me the okay to go ahead and do this?" He goes, "Absolutely. I'm telling you right now, yes, you can do it. Go for it, and you will get it." And I'm like, "Holy shit." Now that doesn't mean in the next few days, because me and Evelyn are leaving in the next few days, but I do have another trip planned out here and some other spots. I've been droning in the meantime. When I found a little interesting spot, let me go drone that. Let me go take some notes. Go to the spot. And I had this interesting thought last night, and it's one of these books by a treasure hunter. He's older now, so he probably doesn't really go anymore, but he had quite a bit of information about this particular area. I'm not gonna be able to share any of this detailed author or anything with you guys, unfortunately. It'll be too much, so I can't. But I just had the suspicion. Let me go read some stuff. I was searching for something online. His book came up. I already had one of his books, but I didn't have a second one. I think he has a few of them, but there's a second one he did. And what I was searching for came up in Google. It's like, "Oh, you could buy the book for a few dollars." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that, thank you." And he talked about this story, and I can't get too detailed with it, but there were some gold bars buried somewhere, and he mentioned this guy's name that figured out where the area was that this person, this girl from a long time ago, who initially told the story because she lived out this way, um, where this rough estimate was, where she said she was told by an Indian a long time ago, and she in herself was alive a long time ago. So, just FYI. But she swears they showed me where this Indian showed me where this stuff was buried or hidden, and I went in and took a few bars out. Basically, she said that was the story. Is it real? Is it false? I don't know. But he says this guy came in, got a claim on the site, and was kind of a jerk anyway. So they were waiting for him to just give up, which he did. He got it for 1 or 2 years. I'm not sure how long, and then gave up purchasing the claim every year from the government or whatever. So I thought, oh, he gave his name. Let me go search for the guy's name in the mining records. I found it. I found the exact claim. I know exactly where this is, and it's nobody's claim anymore. It's expired a long time ago. Nothing was found there, and technically when you get a claim, you're only supposed to like prospect. So I thought, wow, I know exactly where it is, and not only do I know where it is, it's not that awfully far from one of our, sites that we've checked out. I say one of our sites. I don't know. It's an area we have of interest, I should say. Nothing like concrete, but it's close enough that, I could just go a little further and go to this area. So that's one of the places I was thinking of going with Evelyn tomorrow to just scope out. I've got this GPR. Is there a cavern? Is there a tunnel? Is there something? I don't know. But I'm going to go find out. If there is, I'm not going in it. I mean, you got to find a way in first. It's all buried and covered if there was. And I don't have time for that. I don't have the tools to do that. And I may have to go get a claim in this case because this particular one is on public land. The other one I tell you about, my main one's not. It's private. But anyway, so this was an interesting experience I had tonight with this guy and his wife. He was doing the ceremony. He told everybody what everybody needed to hear in their lives. Oh yeah, I know. I was just about to say it right when you yelled that out. My foot. That's the other thing he said. He said, I mentioned, I'm looking for something in these mountains. He goes, I know, and you're gonna find it. Honey, go get me the black bag. Boom, brings this sucker out, gives it to me. And he goes, and he took his feathers, and he had this like concoction of, we'll just say ingredients that were special for, sage and water and just different stuff that was in there. And he called, the spirits in like they do through their, Native American ways, whatever. He dipped the feathers in his hands and put it on me, my hands and my feet. He goes, I'm going to put this on your feet now to help heal your feet because I see your feet are going to be hurt. And I don't want, and make sure you wear a good pair of shoes too. Good pair of shoes, and I'm going to now heal your feet with this. And he did it with a little feather ceremony thing on my feet. You do know I have a bad foot, my left foot, right? I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I did not ask about that. Remember, I was torn. Do I ask about my foot? Do I talk about the treasure? Because the treasure is more important for humanity, for Indians, if I could ever find this damn thing. Does it even exist? I think it does. I'm looking for it. Haven't found it yet. He's pretty convinced that I'm gonna find it. That doesn't mean now, because there's no way. I'm not putting enough effort now to find it because the whole trip got sidetracked with the spiritual stuff. And by the way, does this count as spiritual stuff? You bet your sweet butt. And my wife's here with me. We got to do this together. It was fantastic. We are having like I don't know, she called it like almost like a real honeymoon, like this is the real honeymoon. The one we had before wasn't it. Just a good time for me and my wife. So, yeah, interesting story. And she was having this dream recently about these crystals or something. She's like, I kind of forgot about the dream until the other day, like as in when she was here. And she goes, I remember it now, and I was trying to find these crystals, and I had to like get them out of here and put them somewhere else and do something that's like important. She goes, I don't know, it's weird. So I'm not sure about that either, but interesting that my wife's been dreaming about that. Just weird. We have weird dreams out here, and I say weird, but there's like meaning behind these things. And all these people I'm meeting, again, I had to put the treasure hunt off on the back burner. Too much spiritual stuff that was calling my attention that I just had to deal with. And then we had this wonderful thing happen tonight. The guy gives me this. One more little look. Where's that little sucker? There she is. And just gave it to me. So he's going to be at one of the friends that we've now made house. We did another ceremony at a few weeks ago with JC and Dave. That house. He mentioned the guy and his wife will be there in the mid-morning, I think he said. So what Snip's going to do, even though I already, paid for my wife and I tonight, that's already done. It might need a head gasket or a head rebuilt, something not cheap on his truck. And I got a little bit of cash on me. And we're about to leave soon, and I don't need the cash on me right now. So old Snip is about to pay it forward, I think, to this guy. He needs it, and I'm gonna help. I'm gonna hook him up. I wish I could have recorded everything that happened tonight, even if it was just my own part. That I could, because I didn't know what he was gonna tell me. Now that I got it, oh my God, I wish. I do wish I did record that, but I couldn't have even asked. It was just they don't typically let you record their ceremonies and their objects and things like that they use. And I've learned that. So I can only tell you what happened. But if you would have seen it, you probably would have experienced something and felt it yourself. Just watching people, go up and have a session, so to speak, with the guy in front of everybody. So, anyways, that's all. That's the only video you're getting right now. I can look at the size of this. It's almost a gigabyte, going on almost 30 minutes. It's probably going to take 3 to 4 hours to upload this video at this slow internet. So I will keep you up to date with anything interesting. But I'll be honest, I don't think anything real interesting is going to happen unless I go up there. Oh my God, my GPR just found a effing cavern where I thought there should be one, or Then again, I don't know if I'm going to update anybody on that. I might have to keep it to myself for a while. So I figure out how the hell where's the entrance of this thing? Who knows? But we will see. I do want to check that one, the gold story. Is it fake? Is it real? I don't know. But I do know the area, and I want to go scope it out, test this GPR thing out. Like I told my patrons, if the day comes and Snip finds something, have your crypto wallet addresses on standby, because it's gonna rain. Take care.